Hello, hello. Welcome back to our live streaming on Mindwork Games YouTube channel, and welcome. Good evening to everyone. Sorry, but I have been a bit away from the usual weekly live streaming because I was very busy for Paradise release. So I just took a week of relax from the live streaming, but I am back. I'm back, and I promise to not disappear again. I just also upgraded a bit my setup for the live, so please let me know if my sound is better compared to the last time, and also the video should be also quite better now. Okay, I'm just... So today we will start a new figure because I finished to paint the Witcher tree that I brought in the first episode series on this channel. Today I want to face a completely new project that is HANACHI from Airbrushing. Today I will show you how to phase, how to start very complex project like this one. This is not a complex project in terms of painting, but it's complex project in terms of planning of the paint job, because you have to be. It's a very long process, and you have to create a plan how to phase it, because since you have many things to manage, you have flowers, you have the ambience, you have the painting of the figure, you have many items that you have to control. A very good planning will help you to have a very smooth process. So I will show you how to phase it, how to attack the figure, and how to try to get a very good result in very few steps. As usual, oh, thank you, Nils. Very good knowing that the audio now is better compared to the last time. Slowly, I am also buying new stuff. I'm studying how to improve those episodes, those lives. So if you have any suggestion, please let me know, because I will be very happy to get into. So, how to phase a project that could be complex, or could be a bit demanding in terms of effort? My answer for those are every time is the same. I usually try to phase them starting to paint with a very thick brush, but I would love to use also a thicker one. Okay. This is not bad. This is not bad. So, welcome guys. We are already a few batch of people. Very, very good. So, yeah, this is a very long brush. I usually play with those on canvases, but very useful also on the figure. They will help me to cover a huge surface in very few steps. So, let me pick up a few batches of color, and maybe I will also... Okay, this palette is very old. Okay, this is a very old palette. It's over 1 month that I don't use this palette. And I just want to show you that the colors are gone. No, but some of them are still... No, I don't believe. I can still use this color here. Maybe could be a bit gone, but probably if I dilute a bit with thinner after 1 month in the palette, the color is still reacting to the water. So this is just to show you how long and powerful are the heavy body colors. Maybe those colors could be a bit too much thick for painting figures, but if you have to paint the environment or a panel, probably you should be able to use it. Now I'm very curious, so I will try to move a bit of color in the new palette because I want to test it. This is a palette that I used the last time 1 month before, 1 month ago, and I never opened it again. So wow, this is pretty crazy attempt to use a very old color. Okay. So let's start to create our own palette for this piece. Okay. I want to achieve something very strong in terms of brightness of the project. I also will try to move a bit outside my comfort zone. I usually try to paint a very dark figures with very dark palette. This time I will try to do something completely different, my usual attempt. So I will use a very bright color, like the primary yellow. I will include a magenta. I will include a very strong and vivid green. So let's start to build up the palette. I will use mainly a lot of yellow, because the yellow will help me to manage all the colors on the greens. I will include radiant turquoise and red. I will try at all to exclude from the palette colors like the all yellow oxide or transparent raw amber, because those are very desaturated tones and I don't want to get desaturated feeling on the figure. We need, of course, white. And the special guest for today will be the fluorescent heavy body from Golden. I use those colors for so many different purposes. Sometimes I mix them inside other colors just to brighten up the tonality. Other times I could use those tonalities, those colors, to create some kind of a oil effect, glowing effect. And especially with this piece, I will try to do the same. So we will try to create a very bright front of the figure, and then we will go to push the sides and the back in a sort of darker area where we will place all those glowing effect, glowing spot. We will create some very interesting point where usually the eye will not fall normally. So we will try to create a secondary interest point, just to not have just air as a source of attention. Because having this kind of environment, if we paint the environment too bright, if we paint the environment too much strong compared to the figure, we risk to lose completely the attention on the figure. So the figure is anyway our main subject, so I will try to push all the attention on the figure, and then I will try to paint all the environment a bit darker, a bit less bright, but using very little spot to create attention around the figure. So for example, I will try to place glowing effect upon the head, on the side here, but of course I will try to avoid to pay too much attention to this side here around behind the figure. So it's probably it's more difficult to explain how to approach it than working on. Okay, I just noticed that I forget to clean. Okay, perfect. So, let's start to build our palette. Doing that, I will try to start as usual by a color that I will use as a base. So I'm looking for a sort of orange color that will be a sort of base color for the tree. I will use this kind of brown, but very bright, for as a sort of main base color for the entire project. At this point, I'm not taking care too much about this should be a color that will be very easy to turn into something different. So for example, from this color here, if I want to move on the yellow, I will be able to just move on the palette in this way. So it will be very easy for me to get a bright tonality. The same for the orange red one. And we will use the fluo color to brighten up the tonality. So for example, starting from this kind of muddy yellow here, I could easily brighten up the tonality, just mixing inside this color here some fluo. Okay, that's very good. Okay, on the other side of the palette, I want to have something like green, so I will use the same fluorescent yellow. Just mix it together with the blue, and boom, we will get a very strong green. Okay, so now on the palette I have many muddy colors, but also some of them are very bright, that they will help me to apply the first color on the figure. During this stage I will try to focus only on the lights, because then for the midtones, dark midtones and the shadows, I will just apply some shadows with airbrush, because I don't want to lose the intensity, I don't want to lose the brightness of the color I choose. So in this moment I will just play I will just play on the bright tonalities for the light. During this stage, I just need to try to cover the entire surface of the figure. I'm not taking care about definition. I'm not taking care about anything at this moment. I just want to apply color to understand how the palette will react later. So if you already follow me on the Witchhorn, the approach is very similar. Of course, for Witchhorn we were going to make, I was going to paint a tribute to the Gerald Brown heart. In this case it's different because I'm not following completely the reference artwork, but I want to create something also a bit more personal. Okay, I'm just checking out also if the camera is better positioned this time. So, talking about the piece as well, this is HANACHI. We already saw her during our preview where I started to assemble it. I find a very interesting piece to paint because it offers a lot of different surfaces, and honestly I really love this series we created in cooperation with Kiki Miniatures Mania. Because it's something different by the usual warrior, usual fantasy character. This is set in a totally different environment, totally different storytelling, mixing a bit of sci-fi with other themes. This is a solar punk piece, so I probably is one of the first figure ever produced with this thematic. I don't know if some companies in the past already produced something like that. If yes, if you know something, please just post to me because I will be very curious to see something in the same kind of thematic. Okay, from this palette I will create also some colors for the lady, because I will love to have her painted with the same kind of natural tones but a bit darker. In this way we will have her popping out from the scene. So how you can see painting with those very huge flat brushes allow me to cover a huge portion of the figure in very few brush strokes. Very important is to get the color very well diluted, otherwise you will start to create too thick mass on the surface. You can risk to erase too much some details. No, oops, I'm going into the camera, sorry guys. I just realized that I was going to invade the camera, so I have to move a bit, sorry. Okay. Now should be better. Okay, I have to review a bit better this new setup because it's better than the previous one, but I still have to be used to the camera upon my head. I think I need to get a bigger brush. Well, it depends. I mean, I love painting with very huge brushes because it's very easy. In this way, I'm not taking care about the details and anything. I'm going very fast on the figure. I mean, I can do a very messy job without any without taking care. Okay, to start this, at this point I already placed some kind of lights, some kind of tonalities. This is going to help me to decide where I have to apply a stronger tonality. For example, I'm just realizing that probably I have to create a green spot here in this point because I have one here, 1 point here, and if I'm going to place a dark green spot here, I'm going to draw a triangular shape that is literally going to cage inside the figure. So it will be very useful to have 1, 2 and 3 as a point of interest around the figure, because this kind of triangular shapes will push up the interest around the face of the character. That will be very useful for me since I have this kind of complex figure. Well, it's a very fast way to build up the fonts because you are not taking too much time. You are fast. You are effective. You can achieve a rough sketch of what will be the figure later in very few steps. Especially if you have to build up the color scheme, this is very useful way to create, to not be stuck into some kind of reference. I know that could be a bit brutal way to approach the figure, but I feel very free way to start to paint, because in this moment I'm just creating, I'm just giving a voice to creativity step without taking care about anything. I'm not thinking about anything. I will take care about details and all the other stuff later. Okay, let's go to pick up the airbrush. So, I just have to dry up the figure a bit before proceed to the next step. So while I will dry up the area, this is a very good moment to make questions if you have some. Okay, I'm going to apply the figure on a base because it will be very useful now having a support to hold the figure, since I will go to use the airbrush for all those parts around the back, and I will use the airbrush just to cover them very quickly and very dark. The color on the figure are still drying, but I don't care too much, because if the color is still drying, I can easily blend them with the airbrush. Now I will just go to remove some area where the color probably is too thick, and I don't want to risk to have some kind of bubbles or a huge deposit of color that could be that could ruin the surface later. So let's pick up some inks. Okay, the first color we will go to use is this phthalo green by Liquitex. We are going to use it pure directly into the airbrush. So we are going to use the airbrush to reach all those areas where we will feature a very strong shadow. I start using this kind of green just to give me a base, but we will reach the same areas with a sort of black, a very dark color later. I know that could be very weird approach to paint, because it's a completely messy job, but don't worry, because I know very well what I'm doing now. Oh wow, we have a special guest tonight. We have Marco Frisoni. Are you a fake or you are the real Marco Frisoni, coming here to make annoying question, to destroy a poor YouTuber guy that is starting to work very hard for his channel? Are you the good or bad Marco Frisoni? Okay, I'm now adding to the mix a bit of the real one. We have the real Marco Frisoni. This is not a bot, this is not a This is not a joke. It's not me with another account. It's the real Marco Frisoni. So I'm using the airbrush just with a bit of water, the heavy body color, mix it together with the Liquitex ink, and I will use this mix to create very strong shadow. So I'm using the airbrush while the color is still wet, and I can mix the colors directly on the surface of the figure, because I'm just creating all those textures, all those areas. So at this moment I'm not taking care about anything, just following the flow. Yeah, we were having some preview copies during Adepticon as well. If you love it, you should paint one, because I will be very curious following your approach on this kind of figure. Because I'm trying to do something totally out of my comfort zone. I'm now trying to paint totally different by my own kind of painting. So this is something a bit more on your taste. But I mean, I really love the challenges, so I'm facing with a lot of enthusiasm this different kind of figure. Also, because the guys in Mandra games are usually attacking me about my limited palette, they are complaining all the time long about, oh, you are painting the same dark skin tone, the same pale skin tone, you are painting the same kind of figure. But I mean, it's what I am. I mean, I love this kind of stuff. So this is totally different stuff for me. So as you can see, I'm just using the airbrush to cover a very large portion of a figure here on the base. And then while the color is still drying, I go there to move, to add texture. Hello Marco, welcome. So for this moment we still have a very messy job, but I'm starting to understand what I'm doing now. That's an unusual saturation for me, absolutely, yes. I mean, I'm literally mixing fluo colors inside the mixture and the palette. This is something incredible. I mean, tomorrow morning probably we will be covered by I don't know many kilos and meters of snow here in Italy because I'm just doing that. So some kind of apocalyptic events will happen just because I'm changing my common palette. I'm leaving the way of the desaturation. I mean, it's very weird. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, Niels, this figure, together other ones, will be released tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon we will release this figure with other two figures of the same brand. Alongside to other many releases, because we are going to introduce also new books, art prints, and not other figures, probably just one. So as I said before, I will use this spot here, and this spot here to create a sort of triangular shape where I will go to keep inside the figure. I just realized that I was having the witchhorn tree completely full painted there. It was a bit too close to the airbrush. Well, alongside the importance of the sketchy step, if I could just sketch figure without refining them, I will be the most happier person in the world, because the sketch step, the creativity behind the sketching, it's something that gives me the most joyful moment of the painting journey. Of course, we have sadly finish the pieces, we have to complete them, especially if you paint for a collector or other people that maybe could be interested to purchase your job. But if I could just sketch figure, I will be okay. Sketching every day, new figure, 6 hours, 5 hours of sketch, and it's done. I think that in the sketch, during the creative process, we can really explore something new. We can create also our own style, and this is something very difficult if you approach straight the painting process as a sort of highway. So I have to start from this point and I have to arrive on this point. This is a very boring and old way to approach, especially the figures, because if you go to explore other artistic field, this is something that is not just this is natural when you approach a canvas, when you approach a sculpt, sketching, composition, concept art. Those are the fundamentals of the creative process. Okay, especially on the back, I will feature a very dark ambience, because I cannot avoid to put it in. I have to place something dark into the figure. Also, if the front will be very bright, in this area we will have a lot of dark spots with some glowing effect. So I will go to create textures on the flowers, on the plants. So how you can see, in very few brush strokes, I just realized some very important values in this area, because I have a very dark black, green for most of the surface, but with a big brush I'm able to create some sparkle in the shadows. And those are very useful because I'm not losing time, I'm not blending, I'm just placing color. And I am also leaving a lot of brush strokes on the surface, because again, I am not taking care of the blending, so during this stage I can be very expressive. I just want to create something that starts to work from a very far distance. So if you are starting to look at, also if it's not defined, it's already working as a sort of jungle, because you have a lot of movement, and you have a lot of color inside. I will have a lot of time to adjust. I don't need to adjust now. on the frontal view of the composition, I will try to create a totally different atmosphere compared to the background. So when we will appreciate the figure, we will appreciate a very bright, saturated composition on the front, and slowly turning back, we will have a very dark composition with some kind of glowing spot all around that will create a lot of interest also for the back view. This is a very relaxing moment for me because I'm just starting to dive into the creative part of the figure, because I've just applied the fonts, I just applied my basic color all around, thanks to all those brush strokes that I'm able to create with this very flat, huge brush. I already have many textures on the surface. The texture that I am leaving, I can also work with them in this way. So using the brush flat, I can draw a lot of dozens of lines. Hello, welcome. Dozens of lines upon the surface. And this is something very easily, very natural, since I'm using a huge brush. Thinking about going there to paint each single texture, it will be very demanding in terms of time. So, especially if you are painting for hobby, my usual and common tip is you have few hours per week, you have few hours per day maybe to apply your hobby. Don't lose time to do very annoying job. I mean, if for you is an hobby, try to use tips and tricks about time, about composition, about saving time to enjoy the creative stuff, the creative side. Oh yes, Marco, I mean, for me it's the same. I really enjoy going to appreciate all those kind of... I mean, someone could say that you are ruining the surface of the figure, but since you are going to apply those kind of brushstroke because you are going to paint them, not for mistake, but you won't leave them, you are guiding them. Those are not occasional brushstroke. Those are something that is part of the creative process. It's something that you will use to make something expressive. Those brushstrokes, those that kind of thickness on the figure, it's part of the painting process. I'm not going to exclude it. I'm looking for those. I'm looking for those kind of textures, natural textures that appears during the painting process. I think that the most important difference is among the achievement that you are looking for. If you are going to paint a figure to create something like a painting, so probably you are looking for expressivity, you are looking for something that is going to be very painted. If you are looking to create something realistic, probably you are going to looking for a rendering. So it's totally different purposes, different achievement to looking for. Usually when I paint figure, I'm not thinking about rendering it, I'm thinking to paint it. That is totally different in my opinion. Both of the ways are good, both of the ways are just two ways to approach the painting. But if I'm thinking about painting a figure, what I'm looking for is something very similar, very close to a canvas. But not because this is more right, because it's something that I love to do, I love to achieve, so I'm looking for something like that. If you're looking for something different, you're looking to create something realistic, hyper-realistic, probably your source of inspiration will be totally different, so you will start looking for something more defined, smooth, going to create something that will be very clean in terms of surface. Probably this is something that is missing in our world. I mean, this is something that could be. I don't know. We should explore more on this side compared the usual rendering to get a smooth figure. So there will be more space for expressivity, for concept art, for also because I was thinking a few days ago that nowadays there are so many tools to make concept art. We make concept art by sketching, we make concept art by sculpting, we make concept art by painting on the sculpt. So concept art nowadays is no more just sketching, but it's a very complex process where usually people in the industry are going to use all the tools together. They are going to use traditional drawing, digital drawing, they are going to sculpt something just to get painted, overpainted. Why we should not use the figure to make concept art? That could be something that maybe we could start to explore and thinking about, because could be something very interesting, going to sculpt something very rough, get printed and then get sketched upon, just to have a physical object made very quickly, just to have, oh, I have a three-dimensional object painted that could be used to explore other forms of art. Just a sort of my personal thinking about how to apply miniature painting in other fields. Of course, this is something that is already done, but it's not so popular. It's not easy finding someone doing that to make concept. But I think about Spider Zero, yeah, Simon Lee. Spider Zero is working literally with maquettes. So usually he's going to assemble maquettes physically and he starts to sketch with clay. And usually those sculpts are not used for casting, are not using for production, but are just used as a concept. And this is something that is going to fascinate me a lot. So something that I will try now to just not paint, but I have to fix, I have to block it. It's the face of the figure, because the face of the figure will let me to balance all the other components around. So I just need to block the basic color. Okay. Okay, so also if the surface is still very wet, I can start to define some of the main volumes on the cloth. In this moment I'm not taking care about the smoothing or the blending. I'm just starting to blend on the wet surface the color to create some kind of main volumes, main strokes. Yeah, I think that could be a very good exercise, starting to sketch on figures as a sort of daily exercise. I mean, most of the people who paint miniature got, I don't know, many hundreds of figures, and especially now that you have the access to the 3D printing, so a lot of people are literally, I don't know, overwhelmed by a huge pile of figures. Those could be very useful to explore concept art into miniature painting. So you are going to create something, you are going to use a bust of a figure just to sketch it. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people are starting to paint, they are starting to not be obsessed, but they start into the details. So looking at the details from the beginning will not help you to have a general good composition, theory of color, and something like that. If you look at the master painting on canvas, they usually do not start from a detail. They start from very rough sketching, starting to block out all the composition value, main volumes, and very slow they start to get into the details. But it's the same with the sculpting process or other forms of art. You cannot go from detail to the complete overview. You have to have a very rough vision of what are you looking for, and slowly getting into detail. And of course, this is just my personal opinion, but sometimes you don't have to paint all the details. There are also here a kind of hierarchy that we should try to explore into miniature painting about details. Not all the details are having the same importance in the composition. If you look at a painting, sometimes, especially the digital painting, sometimes all the secondary volumes there are a bit of noise upon them. Those are not very well defined. But also if you look at canvas, oil painting or something like that, not all the area of the canvas are defined in the same way. Because of course there are some hierarchies there to guide the eye of the observer to the right spot, the spot that you want to have, the most important one. So also for the figure here, I will try to focus everything on the bust of the lady and very few steps around, but each of very few area rounds, but each area will work together to push all the attention on the figure. Hello, welcome. Just an example. Now it's a bit also made by, probably not mistake, but this is something that's happening occasionally. I'm just realizing that it would be very cool effect having the internal side of the cloth brighter compared to the outside. This will give me the possibility to create a lot of attention around the neck of the figure. So probably I will try to create some kind of glowing effect also inside the cloth of the figure in this way. So I will have the inside part of the cloth brighter compared to the external part. And this is something that I was not looking for now, but going to explore. This idea is just popped out of my mind, so this is something that was not planned. Also, if I approach the figure with a plan in mind, with a kind of reference that I'm looking for, I was looking on the internet, I was looking at some scene of jungles, I was looking for reference of sci-fi movies. So also if my idea is still under construction, I can apply a lot of things during the process, just exploring. Because no one can stop me, for example, to take the airbrush, changing completely the main color of the figure and restart totally different. This is something that you can explore many times at the same while you are painting in this way, with this kind of approach. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to... This is a kind of exercise that I was trying to keep a bit more frequently, but also if I'm miniature painting, most of the time when I can, I try to draw, I try to explore drawing, because this kind of stuff, also if I'm not going to draw anything, it's going to help me a lot to understand volumes, to understand many composition rules, anatomy rules, something like that. So I try to explore also other different forms of expressions, because especially if you are going to paint a human skin tone, you have to know the anatomy. You have to know how to explore totally different things. If you know how the muscles are working, if you know how the bones are placed, if you go to draw them, also if those are not very good sketches, it doesn't care. I mean, you don't need to have an high quality sketches to learn. You can do a very wrong or very poor quality sketches, but you are still learning stuff. I mean, this is a process, this is not a competition. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Most of the time people are going to lose I don't know how many weeks on a single figure, because they also start to feel guilty if they are not able to finish it. But I don't know how many unfinished projects are behind the most important illustrators in the world. They have piles of stuff started and then completely left there, abandoned. Those are the leftovers, but the leftovers are literally the stock of learning process that you are facing up. Okay, I just did a very messy job, but especially because I'm doing a sketch, who cares? I mean, I just ruined this area here. Who cares? No one's, because I'm still sketching. So I'm not going to clean. It's there. Now this spot of green is just part of the face of the lady, and it's fine. I will use as a sort of subtone, something like that. I don't know. I mean, but I'm not going to panic. Oh, wow, I'm just destroying the face. Who cares? No one's. Because nothing here is finished, nothing can be ruined. Everything is under exploration. So also if I'm still into the sketch step, I just want to try to apply some of the first glowing effect, some kind of details, just to understand how to balance them later. So now I'm moving from the basic fonts to the first highlights, the first touches of color, touches of light, also touches of expression, because those lines, those steps will go to bring a lot of force into the composition. I just lost my fluo. Okay, fine. I'm not painting the details, but I am painting the details. I mean, I'm trying to start to split those volumes into many others, little volumes that will help me to create new stuff around. Yeah, I mean, I'm working mainly with heavy body. I'm using inks. I'm using golden heavy body, and most of the painting is done by using the Mindwork Games heavy body. Those are very long time of drying, so I'm able to literally, while painting, going to reactive again the color that is going to dry, just to create blends very easily. But I'm not looking for the blends. I mean, those are very easy to blend, but having a lot of wet color around will help me to create very strange transition. They will help me to create a lot of weird transition of the model that are very difficult to achieve if you're going to paint with purpose. I mean, if you're going to blend those kind of weird way to play around the color, this is not easy to achieve if you go to literally pick up the color from the palette and apply on the surface. Having the color wet will help you to create I don't know how many different blends and mix, every time different, every time with a different consistency, with a different kind of texture. Okay, guys, sorry, I have to disappear for a while because I need to turn on my AC because I'm literally melting. Okay, I lost the controller of the AC, so nothing. Probably I will die today. I will melt painting here. So painting those area here now, I'm just trying to create huge variations of color around. I'm not focusing at all, thinking about the details. I'm just exploring how I can achieve the most complex results in terms of variations, blends, mix. I will have a lot of time to change if something will not work together. So it's pure exploration. I'm just exploring now. Okay, I'm starting to this very bright scheme, if I can define it a scheme, but it's not. This is just a sketch. This is just a sort of exploration, but I'm starting to be very happy about how I'm managing and handling all those colors together. Also because this is something really outside my comfort zone. Of course, guys, if you have any question, any topic of you want to explore, feel free to interact in the chat, because I will be very happy to help you or discuss about some kind of topic. Today I'm alone, but from the next episode, Williamsburg will join us again. So and I don't know, Marco, but if you want, sometimes I will be very happy to have you guest during the live to make a sort of commentary together. I don't know, but I guess it could be a very good chance to open some kind of topic about miniature art and discuss all together, while maybe I'm painting, or maybe you are painting, or both of us are painting. So having a sort of chit chat about miniature painting, an open topic about the industry and how we should approach this kind of hobby. I guess it will be a very interesting kind of episode. If you want, we can start to run. I don't know if Marco is still there, but probably no. So I just made him a propose, but he will not able to to be reached by the proposal. So I will contact him again later. So, are you interested, chat, to have some kind of episode where maybe I can host some personality in the miniature world to talk about the industry and those kind of stuff? Because probably it would be a very useful way to talk about topics going to host other miniature painters. Yeah. Also for me, I mean, having him here today was completely not planned, so it just made us a surprise. But it will be very interesting while we are sketching and painting, having others' point of view to generate discussion about the miniature painting. Marco, please, don't say that, because I don't know how many degrees are in this city in this moment, but I'm literally melting, and I got lost the AC controller, so I cannot. I have to looking for in the house, but I can't leave the chat now, so I'm in this kind of limbo where I can turn on the AC. But I cannot do that because I don't know where is the controller. So I'm melting while I have the tools to fight it. Okay, guys. At this point, I have to wait a few hours to get everything completely dry, because I use a massive amount of pigments. I use a massive amount of water, so I'm not so able to push more the painting sketch over these because I need to have a surface completely dry to move on. I already use this kind of feature, so I have to wait. So we will interrupt here this live, but don't worry, because on Friday we will repeat again the weekly live appointment. We will continue working on this figure, so in the meantime I will try to push a bit up this sketch to come to the next live with a refined sketch and starting to work on the first detail, the first volumes. So I don't know if there are someone from the chat has some kind of question, or I don't know. If you have question, please, this is the moment before I shut down the current live. Thank you so much, Marco. Oh, now that you are listening, I was proposing you to stream some kind of episode together, while maybe we can paint or something like that. I don't know, just to start to talk about different topic in this kind of hobby that are usually not faced by most of the live or YouTube educational channels. So not just about talking about the educational, but speaking a bit more about the industry and all the stuff related. Okay, I think that I'm here, count me in is the answer to that. So very good, because I will be very happy to run together something like that. So guys, thank you so much to have been here with me. We reached over 100 different persons today. I'm very happy about that. So see you on Friday for the next episode on HANACHI.